The Oklahoma City Thunder did in 41 games what it took all season to do last year. They won 23 games and head to the halfway point of the NBA season as the talk of the league. From the Opubco studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching Inside Thunder Basketball with Darnell Mayberry. I'm Mike Sherman. He's Darnell, and we're debating the topics most crucial to the Thunder as they enter the second half of the season. Darnell, let's start with the greatest need for this team, and don't say experience. What is it?
I'm going to say perimeter shooting. Last year it was defense. They've shored up that area of the court. Perimeter shooting is still sort of on and off. I mean, it's spotty. Jeff Green, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and James Harden fluctuate between how much they're able to provide that need for the Thunder. Kevin Durant and James Harden seem to be the most consistent. Jeff Green and Russell Westbrook not so much up and down. So if they can find a consistent perimeter shooter, I think they'll be in good shape.
Interesting you should say that, because when the season started, everybody, just the eye test, the watch test, everything said they need inside presence, interior defense. You're not saying that anymore.
Well, because look at their rebounding. I mean, it's been spotty throughout this season. I mean, they're a young team. Of course, it's going to be up and down. But they're one of the better rebounding teams in the league. They're in the top 5, top 6, top 7 in terms of block shots. Serge Ibaka, Nenad Kirstic, and Nick Collison have combined to form a nice trio. I throw Jeff Green in that category as well. That's a nice foursome that's provided some interior defense for this team, and it's been working out well for them so far.
Okay, there's a lot of talk now about Chris Bosh and the trade rumors surrounding him. Art Garcia on NBA.com floated out the idea that the Thunder might trade for Chris Bosh. Darnell, floated is probably the best word, isn't it?
Yeah, floated. As I said on my Thunder Rumblings blog, it's scintillating, but it's all speculative. This team is not going to trade for Chris Bosh. You can take that to the bank. They're not going to give up Jeff Green, 2 first-rounders, and a Serge Ibaka or a DJ White for a guy who may or may not be around. It's just too risky. Now, if you talk about free agency, I think there's a good chance that they can try to go out and get Chris Bosh in free agency. They've got cap space this summer. They've got to worry about re-signing Kevin Durant, possibly Jeff Green, if they don't want to roll him over into restricted free agency. So, they've got the assets. It's just a matter of whether Chris Bosh wants to play here, which I don't think he'll have a problem with. He's from 3 hours south in Dallas, so I think that's appealing. They've got a young team here that's on the right track, so I think it all adds up well for Chris Bosh, a player like Chris Bosh, to come to Oklahoma City.
About trades, Darnell, we're about a month away from the NBA trade deadline. What trade is out there that to you makes the most sense?
Well, I don't think they're going to trade any of their young core. Like I said, Russell Westbrook is here to stay. Jeff Green, I think, is here to stay. They've got 2 first-round picks that are not quite as appealing as they look to be coming into this season. The Phoenix first-rounder, their own first-rounder. Phoenix is playing ahead of everyone's expectations, so is the Thunder. But at the same time, you can use those first-round picks late in the draft. It costs a little on your cap. You can get a low-risk, high-reward player like Sam Presti is accustomed to doing from his days in San Antonio. So I wouldn't be quick to trade those picks, but he certainly can throw them in a package. He also has Matt Harpring, his expiring contract, to dangle out there, as well as Etan Thomas's. So I wouldn't be surprised if he traded some of those expiring contracts, possibly packaged them with a first-round pick, maybe some of his young talent. I mean, you got guys who can't even get on the floor right now, DJ White, Kyle Weaver. He could package those and get someone like an interior presence like a Marcin Gortat, or just get another first-rounder. I think Presti loves first-round picks. He could go out and get another first-rounder, maybe not for this draft, but for the following draft.
You don't see the Thunder addressing that need for perimeter shooting in the trade before the trade deadline?
Well, it's sort of a risky trade. I mean, you don't have really much space to get someone playing time. You got Thabo Sefolosha, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook. These are your wing players. So who's going to come in and take that spot, those minutes from those guys? And I don't really see anyone out there who's going to be able to do that.
Okay, most important player in the second half, not named Kevin Durant.
Most important player for the Thunder, I'd say Jeff Green. I wrote about it a few weeks ago. When he plays well, the Thunder plays well, and they win generally. When he is around that double-double range, more than 15 points, more than 10 rebounds, they win the game. When he's not, they generally lose. So I think as he goes, the Thunder goes, and Russell Westbrook, I think, is a close second.
Playoffs or no?
You're putting me on the spot. We got 41 games left. A lot can happen. I'm not ready to answer that just yet.
It's the halfway point.
I'm not ready to answer that just yet. There's a lot that can happen with injuries on the Thunder and on other teams. You just never know. The trading deadline hasn't even been here. When we sit back here again on February 19th, 20th or so, then talk to me. I'll answer after the trade deadline.
Okay, Darnell, you're not going to predict playoffs or no? At least give me a win total projection.
Well, at the beginning of the season, I said 34, 33, 34. It looks like they're going to be ahead of that pace, but, kudos to the Thunder.
They've already matched last year's win total in half the time. I said 40. I say that's a little bit on the low side. That's all for this edition of Inside Thunder Basketball with Darnell Mayberry, but you can follow the best coverage team anywhere every day it is okay and every morning in the Oklahoma.